ACC College Hoops from Reynolds Coliseum, Raleigh, North Carolina, the NC State campus. This historic building and the legend, the statue out front of Kay Yao. She was the head coach 20 years ago, consecutive weeks ranked in the AP Top 5, and they've done it again early this season. And tonight, the number 4 team in the nation takes on the Wake Forest Deacons. It is so great to have you with us for our game this evening. Tom Wormy along with Kelly Dale. And Kelly, for NC State, yes, they're undefeated, but it was a close game against Boston College on Sunday. With 6 minutes to go, they trailed by 16, but somehow they come back and they win the game and they stay perfect.
Well, when you beat the number 1 team in the country like NC State did, you get this giant bullseye on your back. And Boston College was not afraid to take on NC State. They took it at them. They shot threes, but NC State down 16 in the fourth quarter. Elisa Canane had her typical double-double, but it was Kayla Jones right here who brought this team back in the fourth quarter. She scored a career-high 25 points. In the last 5 games alone, she's been averaging 15 points, 7 boards. She is the glue, Wes Moore says, of this NC State team.
Across the way for the Deacons, Gina Conti, the senior, struggled last year in the game against the Pack. Just 3 of 18 from the floor.
Well, and she'll have the ball in her hands for most of the night tonight, and she's going to have to play with confidence. The way she's played all season long, she's a senior, wants to get things done this senior year. She's got some help with Ivana Ratza on her side, but Coach Jen Hoover loves the way that this senior class has been playing. And the starting lineup, the Toyota starting lineup for Jen Hoover, features Jules Spear. She gets the start for Wake. She's trying to rebound from an 0 for 10 shooting performance in 30 minutes of action against North Carolina. That was a win at home for Wake in its most recent game. NC State and Wes Moore and their starting lineup. And we mentioned Elisa Canane, the junior. An incredible career, averaging over 15 points per game and almost 8 rebounds per game. Jada Boyd, now she has missed the last 4 games because of a knee injury, and that includes road games against South Carolina and BC, but she should be available tonight. They say she might play some limited minutes in a Wolfpack uniform, but back on the floor as the Pack owns the opening tip. They're in the white. It's Wake Forest in the old gold and black. So glad that you're with us for ACC women's basketball. Luis Gonzalez, Jeffrey Smith, Ashley Gloss are officials for tonight's game. Canane able to bounce that one off of Wake out of bounds and maintain the possession. An interesting first defensive play there by Wake Forest. It looked like they were out of position. Nobody was guarding Reina Perez on the point guard position, but nonetheless, NC State stays with the ball.
They won that game Sunday at Boston College, 75-69. Trailed by 16 points with just over 6 minutes to go in regulation, and they've got the first points tonight.
Brown Turner is excellent in that mid-range game. Loves to take it off the bounce, can extend over her defender, puts it in easy.
Jakia Brown Turner, 12 points per game, 6.7 rebounds, and shooting 39% from the floor, and there's the steal.
Reina Perez with those active hands. She's the grad transfer. Played at Cal State Fullerton and was the Big West Player of the Year, and she has been incredible so far this season.
And that is an easy layup for Brown Turner. She's got the first 4 points on the board for NC State.
Ball pressure will have to be a lot better for NC State. They've got to be able to contain the dribble. Jakia Brown Turner will have a big night if not.
Pack averaging 84 points per game. Second best in the ACC. Ratza, Conti. Down the lane. 3-point attempt. Wake Forest going for the deep shot and scoring.
That's what I love about Conti. She loves to put the ball on the floor, drive. If she does not have anybody, she'll shoot it, but she found the open player.
We told you about Spears' struggles, but not there for 3.
And that always helps when you can get the shot to fall early on. It's big for your confidence.
She had missed all 6 of her 3-point attempts. At the other end, NC State gets a 3 of its own.
And that was necessary, too, because Kai Crutchfield went 0 of 7 in that last game against Boston College. So 2 players on either side that really were ice cold in their last performances getting going.
Yeah, for Crutchfield, that BC game was her first game back from an ankle injury where she'd missed a couple of games as well. Twisting shot, bounces off from Mora. .6-0 on the season for the Pack. Canane hangs and scores. And a timeout on the court. The junior from Summerfield, North Carolina, taking it to the rim with the strength up on the square, and it's 9-3 early back. That 2020 ACC Tournament Champions banner hanging in the rafters here at Reynolds Coliseum from a season ago, and a 9-3 early lead. Here's the snapshot for Wake Forest. They lost their first game of the year. They've reeled off 4 straight victories. And the most recent win was last Thursday at home against North Carolina, 57-54. And for the Wolfpack, 6-0. Undefeated. That BC game was their first conference game. 174 wins for Wes Moore as the head coach of the Pack. Overall, he's got 732, and you see how they get each other involved in the flow of play with the assists per field goal. And now our Honda dealers of the Carolina start up with Elisa Canane, the back-to-back double-doubles against Elon and Boston College in that most recent come-from-behind victory for Canane. She has 19 career double-doubles. All-American last year, first-team All-ACC, and she led the conference in rebounding with about 9.5 per game.
Yeah, she's the face of this NC State team. She's known across the nation as one of the best post players in the country. And she takes up a lot of space inside. But what I've loved seeing, especially this season, is the way other players are coming along. And they're just these complementary players. Like we said, Kayla Jones, a lot of people getting into the action and putting up big numbers.
Watch for a big smile in the middle. Elisa Canane for NC State. Shot clock down to 6. They got it inside, and it's Mora.
That's not an easy pass to finish out. What a great look from the top. You've got Canane playing high side defense. That pass had to be perfectly placed.
So Mora gets in the box score. Canane extending the range. And now 5 for 5 from the floor for NC State to start.
That's what makes her so dangerous, because you've got to play her honest on the perimeter. And to start off a game early and get the 3-ball going, that's going to be big as Mora tries to guard her.
Third made 3 of the season for Canane on 7 tries. She shoots 52% from the floor. Try to dump it low, and it's successful on the collaboration.
So I'm a post player, and I watched Kayla Jones telling her guard where to pass the ball so that she could pin and seal and get the right angle from Canane. That was perfection.
First bucket for Kayla Jones, who averages over 14 per game for the senior from Jamesville, North Carolina. Knocked around inside and taken away by the Pack, and here comes Reina Perez. Drops it off, one power dribble, it's up and it's in.
Great distribution by Reina Perez. This is a player coming into this game, 26 assists and just 4 turnovers. I mean, that's just unbelievable when you're playing the point for the number 4 team in the country.
Pack trying to run. Kia Brown-Turner trying to get to the rim, and a whistle or foul.
All right, post players, watch this. Look at Kayla Jones talking to her guard, pins and seals, pushes her defender up the lane so that she creates space in the paint to get the ball, secure it, and then go up. I know that she's more of like a 3-4 player, but those are some good post moves. I know Erin Bath is on the sideline right there, just high-fiving that guard wannabe post player inside.
Brown-Turner at the free throw line, 75% this season, was 12 of 16 to start the evening. Started every game so far. All ACC freshman selection for the season ago for the sophomore from Oxon Hill, Maryland, and she's got 5 points. 5.5 minutes to go in our first quarter. Wake Forest got in a 7-point hole in the first quarter against North Carolina, but fought back to win that game on Sunday. Ratza with a difficult shot. The Carolina game was on Thursday. Sunday was a canceled game at home against Norfolk State. Perez, and it's a 10-0 run.
Perez can shoot it. She made a living scoring a lot of points, as I said earlier, for Cal State Fullerton, and she's passed a lot for NC State team, but she can put it up as well, and a great answer there by Wake Forest.
Mora now has 4 points. Brown Turner lining up the 3-ball and knocking it down.
I'm sure I'm going to say Kayla Jones's name a lot tonight, but how about the quick touch pass out to the guard to get her the ball in time to hit that one?
So Brown Turner, 27% from beyond the arc, but hitting that one, 7th of the season. Closing in on the 4-minute mark of our first quarter. Shot clock is at 3. It's another tough shot from Rotza with the shot clock on her back. Perez waiting for the reinforcements on the wing. Jones right back to her straight away. 3-ball is good.
Great ball movement. NC State takes advantage. They are on a roll.
They've shot the ball 10 times, and every time it's gone in. 10 for 10 from the floor, NC State.
Canane with the rebound, out on the break, the hesitation, the pass to Perez up top, who hits another bucket. She has been lights out. I am told her parents have often made the trip out to Raleigh. They live in the Arizona area. They already have #2 jerseys that they have made. Jeffrey and Veronica Perez able to watch their daughter in her graduate season, lead this #4 Wolfpack team.
7 assists on the 10 field goals for NC State. Now the lead is 25-7 in the first quarter.
Reina Perez, the 5th best graduate transfer out of that portal. And I heard that she didn't know much about the NC State team, but her brother had been following their success, knew that they had just won the ACC championship, and it was sort of a perfect fit for Wes Moore and this team, and in place of Ace Koenig, who graduated last season. Great senior.
Big part of the ACC tournament championship team, and who knows what the NCAA tournament would have held for this NC State program. After that win in Greensboro, Brown Turner had that one knocked away.
Here's something Wake Forest wants to do. Jen Hoover told me they want to get going in transition. Oftentimes, NC State can play that sagging man, and so they would rather get up and down, get the ball to those guards in transition quickly, and see if they can get something out of it.
9th season for Coach Hoover. 2nd in wins in school history. Her 10th year overall. Spent 1 season as the head coach at High Point. That into the backcourt, but deflected, and now all the way back and scooped up by Conti.
Conti has yet to put up a shot in this game. She's been a distributor only. 2 assists.
They try the entry pass to Mora, knocked away Canane. It was taken by Jones. Right down the middle off the front rim. Conti dribbling in traffic. 88th all-time meeting between the programs. It's a 5-game winning streak of the series for NC State. It's a soft bounce and it'll fall for Conti. Her first bucket.
And that's as simple as it needs to be. Give her a ball screen. She'll go off shoulder to shoulder, find the open spot on the elbow. Great look.
You know, one of the late games we did last season right here against Virginia for the Pack, on March 1st, they made their first 13 3-point attempts for an NCAA record. That one a lot closer to the hoop by Canane with 7.
Yeah, everybody on this team can hit the 3, and that was a great play out of the horn set. They found Canane down low, and great passing, great job spreading the floor. This offense is looking very efficient.
Inside of 2 minutes to go in our first quarter. Rapidly paced. Inside of Reynolds Coliseum. Mora steps around Canane and got clipped as well, and has a chance to go to the free throw line for the old school 3-point play.
I love when players are playing against somebody that has a name to them, right? Everyone knows Elisa Canane, but Mora, she doesn't care about that. She is going hard at her defender, making them pay, drawing the fouls. And remember, in that game against Boston College, Elisa Canane got in early foul trouble and had to sit for the majority of that first half. So picking up some early fouls could be a difference maker for NC State.
Moore finishes off the three-point play. Brown Turner stepping back. Out of the corner, the three ball at 11 points.
Having no problem shooting right now is NC State. 86%, Tom, from the field right now.
Brown Turner had 12 points and 7 boards, but missed all 5 of her three-point attempts on Sunday against Boston College in that win. And that's Mora working on the interior.
Just a great look. Taking her time, reading her defense, spins right over, gets that right-handed hook to go.
She's got 9. She averages just over 10 points per game. Brown Turner is open, trying the other side. She'll hold that finish for the three ball. Corner pocket at 14 points.
That's what the spacing does. You've got perimeter shooters all around the horn. And, I mean, when you've got players spread out like that, somebody is going to be open.
NC State averages 7 made threes per game. They are 6 of 6 now on three-point attempts. Canane. Traveling violation and back to Wake Forest.
You saw the hesitation because the help was coming, and that was great defense by Wake Forest. And it's something that they've really hung their hat on has been their defensive effort in the last few games. In particular, they held the North Carolina team that was averaging in the 80s to under 50 points in that game. Or excuse me, 54 points in that one.
Final seconds of our first quarter. That's off the glass and it drops.
She'll take it.
Looked like Spear hit that three. And she's got a couple of them, 6 points. But most of that quarter belonged to NC State. Driving, Canane with the position, and they went out beyond the three-point arc as well. 33-17, end of one in Raleigh. ACC Women's Basketball is brought to you by CPI Security. By the Fresh Market, discover the best today. And by Continental Tire, for what you do. The Hall of Fame inside Reynolds Coliseum, featuring the legend Kay Yao and her assistant way back when, Wes Moore on the staff here at NC State from 93 to 95 under Coach Yao. And he likes the stock market, so if you put a couple bucks on Wes Moore a few years ago, you can see the trend in wins continuing to escalate. 28 in both 2019 and 20, and an ACC tournament title last year.
There's nothing more gratifying than that snapshot right there if you're a head coach. He said it took him 26 years to get to this level, and he said he's enjoyed every single bit of this. And I think that's sort of always the question when you come from the mid-majors like he did at UTC, and I know he was the head coach at a few other places. The question is, can you win at this level? And so to see what he's been able to do, bring NC State back into this kind of dominance, winning that ACC tournament last season. I mean, NC State is absolutely back in the ACC and on the national level as well.
We saw those numbers, just 13 of 15 shooting, incredible. And now Jada Boyd has coming off the knee injury. We were told limited minutes for Boyd, who just picked up the foul.
And this is an incredibly athletic player, 6'2", he's got a great frame. Just a tremendous player on this team. When she gets back into full strength, watch out.
Coach Yao with 680 wins, the most in school history, in that ACC tournament title in '91. Shot clock way down. And an awkward leaner again by Ratza. She's had to do that on several occasions late in the shot clock.
How about the confidence, by the way, you put in Jada Boyd, who's just coming back from injury, to put on Ivana Ratza? It says a lot.
Great passing there by NC State. The recipient of that tight pass was Brown Turner.
Yeah, they're really doing well in that secondary break. They've been able to get a lot out of it, a lot of high-lows, whether it's to Canaan inside or, as you saw there, a guard.
16 points for Brown Turner. That'll rattle home for the Demon Deeks. Brown with the bucket. Against NC State. Hardy star to watch tonight. Ivana Ratsa, number 11, senior from Belgrade, Serbia. How about her 98th career game and 67th straight start in a Wake uniform, and she's improved every season.
Yeah, she's tremendous. She leads this team in both scoring and rebounding, and a double-double against UNC just recently. She's a tremendous player, and she, alongside of Conti, both seniors are on this roster. They, I think, are going to make a lot of trouble in the ACC this season. They want to do well together, and this is their last shot.
Ratsa has not scored tonight. There's 19 points per game, third best in the ACC. The early part of the schedule deflected out of bounds, and that will be Wake Forest basketball. Just the second turnover for NC State.
A great adjustment by Jen Hoover to go to a zone on that possession. Got a turnover out of it. Let's see if they can turn that into points now on the other side. So
Wake Forest tonight, Kelly, could make history against top 5 teams in the history of Wake Forest women's basketball. They are 0-54. So tonight would be the first win, but it will be an uphill climb after trailing in that first quarter and now into the second quarter, 35-21.
Well, if you're Jen Hoover, you're telling your players and your staff they cannot be shooting 88% for the game, right? I mean, you just hope, if you're the opposing coach, that number will go down. And there's a missed shot there by Hobby, but at NC State right now, everything is working for them on offense.
This season, the Pack shooting 47% as a team. They have exceeded that so far tonight. 7:15 to go in our second quarter. Contact on the drive by Brown.
I like when Wake Forest puts the ball on the floor. When they attack, that is when they are at their best. This is a team that gets to the foul line just about as well or more than anybody in the ACC. They've made a living from there. Gina Conti missed her first free throw in that game against UNC. She goes to the line the most of anybody on this Wake Forest team.
They make more free throws despite that miss than their opponents have attempted, with Neve Brown, the freshman from Charlotte, at the free throw line.
And that's always the hope. That's what you tell your team. But to do that consistently every single game is pretty incredible.
So now 9 of 12 on the season for the strike for Brown. Mallard Creek High School, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Some token pressure now from Wake Forest, trying to disrupt this NC State offense.
Canaan, offensive glass, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Jen Hoover told me that the rebounding battle is going to be essential in this game. You see Elisa Canaan right there getting on the offensive boards. You've got to box her out in particular. Always get a body on Canaan. This is a player that's so athletic that she just finds the ball. After a miss, she's got great timing, good footwork, really good hands to secure those offensive rebounds.
Junior out of Northern Guilford High School. 86% from the free throw line this season, and now she has 9 points. Told you about the back-to-back double-doubles against Boston College and Elon. 19 career double-doubles, over 1,000 career points, and over 500 career rebounds. The Wolfpack uniform, Elisa Canaan. Leading the team in both scoring and rebounding. And a whistle on the drive on the inside. More free throws coming up for Wake Forest. Scruggs was driving. Boyd has picked up her second personal.
Alex Scruggs is really a leader on this team. Even though she's just a sophomore, Jen Hoover said she's kind of like the mother hen. Obviously, with all this COVID protocol, there's just a lot of a lot of adjustments that this team has had to make. And Alex Scruggs is the one that's calling the younger players, always making sure that everyone's doing okay. I mean, you got to be thinking about things like this as a coach, making sure that the mental health of your team is always, as good as it can be, and that you're getting the chemistry that you want. And how nice to have a sophomore step up into those areas.
4 points now for Scruggs. Crutchfield, the catch and release. Out of bounds, we'll keep it at this end of the floor. That was the first missed three-pointer of the game for NC State. To the 37-24 lead. Crutchfield and Perez in that backcourt. Maine trying to beat a double team. And there was some contact inside of the foul against Wake.
Sumiel was doing a pretty good job of playing post defense, but Elisa Canane is so good that when she pulls you up to the top of that free throw line, it is going to be very difficult to maintain position. Sumiel just had her hands all over.
Sumiel's second foul. Turn around, Canane. Rotza pulls it down. Here's Conti. $16 points for Conti in the win against North Carolina. Rotza misfires. Perez able to grab it on the end line. Running, floating one up on the rim. Off the Canane fingertips. Right to Jones. Gina Conti, the senior from Grove City, Ohio. Mora. She missed, and now Jones. That win against Boston College, the 950th in program history for NC State. Perez straight away front rim. Brown Turner able to grab it. Entry to Canane. Rotza was defending and might be flagged for this foul.
And that's where you've got to be careful if you're Wake Forest. You're now back to a zone, which means you can protect yourself a little bit more. So you do not want to get those chippy fouls. Elisa Canane has drawn 2 fouls now just in posting up. She doesn't even have the ball. Wake Forest has got to be more disciplined on the defensive end.
Want to be with us Sunday at 3 for Notre Dame and Clemson, more ACC women's basketball. Clemson winning in South Bend last year against the Irish. So that sets up the matchup for Sunday. 3 Eastern.
It was a game I ended up calling that one. Kendall Spray hit 8 threes in that game to beat Notre Dame for the first time on their home court.
We were scheduled to bring you Miami and Louisville to start that doubleheader at 1 Eastern, but the schedule is always subject to change, so that game has been postponed. Hopefully they can get that one back on the schedule, but we'll try to accommodate you at 3 Eastern for Clemson and Notre Dame from Clemson, South Carolina. Time out on the floor. Wes Moore in the pack in front of the Demon Deacs. The Greensboro Coliseum, home of the ACC Women's Tournament. We love being a part of the festivities. We hope that by March, the state of North Carolina and the city of Greensboro will be allowing fans to safely gather and support the student athletes in the quest for a tournament trophy. But for now, you can plan on tuning into your regional sports network for all the early round action beginning on March 3rd. Stay up to date. For more information on the tournament, visit theacc.com. That trophy right now resides in Raleigh, North Carolina, as NC State took it home with a win against Florida State in the title game a year ago. Other scores in the ACC tonight. Close one between Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. Kitley leads the way with 20 points for Virginia Tech. Maddie Westbell with 21. And then Florida State and Clemson. That's in the second quarter. And to come tonight, Syracuse, North Carolina. Syracuse, one of 3 teams, including NC State, ranked in the top 25, along with Louisville in the ACC.
A lot of eyes on that Virginia Tech Notre Dame matchup right now. Dara Mabry, who used to play for Virginia Tech last season, now playing for Notre Dame, and first-year coach Niele Ivey. And you saw there Dara Mabry only with 4 points right now, but her team down by 3. This will be an interesting game to see how this finishes in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Virginia Tech is undefeated on the season at 6-0. Notre Dame 2-3 and 0-1 in ACC play. Virginia Tech and Notre Dame, a close one there in the fourth quarter. Here it is 37-24. 4.5 minutes to go in our second quarter, so glad that you're with us. Tom Wormy along with Kelly Deo, 0-1 national championship from Notre Dame. The motto that year, get the ball to Ruth. What are you doing, Deo? Three-pointer for Ratza, and she continues to be cool and not in a good way from the floor so far for Wake Forest.
Yeah, Ratza and Conti both with just 2 points apiece. You cannot do that if you're Wake Forest. I mean, maybe on the alternative, or on the other side, excuse me, it's NC State's defense. They're doing a great job of shutting those two down. You take them away, you take away Wake Forest.
Pack is also cooled off. They made 14 of their first 16 field goals, had missed their last 7 until that one from Canane.
That's as easy as it gets, but that was because of some being able to pass the ball along the perimeter. Ball rotation was able to get that high-low look for Canane inside.
11 points for Canane, 6th time this season into double digits, and the 56th time in her career at NC State. Double-digit score. Three-pointer at the other end comes from Wake Forest and Spear. And she's got 3 of them, 9 points.
Yeah, Jewel Spear has done an excellent job in this game. As we said, she did not have a great shooting night in that performance against UNC. She's a freshman, actually, that NC State also was recruiting and looked at. She's a Texas high school player. And she's been very, very strong for this Wake Forest team.
On the offensive glass, it is Jones. 6 points for Jones. Spear, who's made 3 3-pointers for Wake Forest, was shooting 19% from beyond the arc prior to tonight. They struggled, as Kelly mentioned, in their most recent outing, a win against North Carolina. Whistle stops play from Luis Gonzalez.
Wake Forest got lucky there. I thought Gina Conti was forcing it. And that happens oftentimes when you know that you're a scorer and you need to start putting some points on the floor, you start forcing it. And this NC State defense is too good. And there's not a lot of openings and a lot of gaps. And Conti almost lost it, but somehow was able to find Harrison. And she is now at the line.
So Canane picked up her second personal foul, and predictably, she has gone over to, we used to call it the bench. It needs a new term. But the good thing is that everybody is spaced out, socially distanced, and all the health and safety protocols and guidelines being followed to the letter by the institutions and venues inside the ACC. That's the only way we make it to March, and everybody has their fingers crossed that we can get through the schedule and get to Greensboro for the ACC Women's Tournament.
The coaches have all commended these players for having to really, have a whole different college experience because of this pandemic and the way that everybody has had to adjust. But hats off to these players, coaches, administrators, everybody that has allowed us to get to this point tonight. When we have a game, Tom, we're happy.
Yes, thrilled. You don't want to see that phone ringing right before tip. Hopefully we get to the 44th ACC Women's Tournament in Greensboro. That's off the mark out of the corner. Harrison runs it up. Ran into Perez, who impeded her progress.
Wow.
Another 3, Spear. 12 points, and they're all 3 balls.
She's not going to go cold for too long. That's just a one and done. She is showing us what she has. It's just a freshman. And how about the drive by Kayla Jones? She has been so much fun to watch. I'll tell you, she has stepped up to another level. I think it's, you think about that win against #1 South Carolina, and then what she did in the fourth quarter alone at Boston College. There's a belief that starts happening in these players sometimes, and I think she stepped into this place where she knows she is just an incredible player.
More misses. You talked about the end of that BC game for Jones. She went on a personal 9-0 run in the fourth quarter, and the 25 points of career high exceeded her previous career high of 17 and helped NC State stay perfect on the season with the win against BC.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable finish. I mean, I thought that was BC's game, no doubt about it. And NC State just did not seem to be coming back. And then they put on some pressure and forced Boston College into some turnovers, and they were able to get it back.
Hobby with her first points. And now 40 seconds. About a 15-second difference, shot and game. Ratza trying to muscle her way in with a ball fake and a bucket. First two of the night, Ratza.
I mean, that seemed easy, right? And she's not been able to get those easy looks at the basket. Somehow she found an opening.
Final 12 seconds. State by 11. Perez, three-pointer, right before the horn, and 8 points in the first half for Reyna Perez, extending the lead to 48-34. Halftime is straight ahead from K-Yao Court and Reynolds Coliseum. ACC College Hoops from Raleigh, 48-34. The Wolfpack lead. They led by as many as 19 at the end of that first quarter, and they have the halftime lead. Here's a look at the standings. Again, we're waiting on some games to get completed tonight on the schedule, but right now it's Georgia Tech leading very early in conference play, certainly, but Georgia Tech with a couple of great wins against Boston College and Notre Dame so far this season. Yeah, they've been terrific, and Lodemai Lahtinen has been a big reason why. She's somebody that has just gotten better year after year, and I don't think anybody is surprised. When you think about Nell Fortner and the kind of coach that she is and what she brings to this program, this Georgia Tech team has just followed suit. They've bought in, and they have been so much fun to watch this season. Couple of outstanding performers for Georgia Tech celebrating victories. Lodemai Lahtinen and Loyal McQueen, the freshman. Yeah, you look at those numbers right there. Loyal McQueen, by the way, her dad was a guard on the Wake Forest team back in the 90s, a 4-year starter, Derek McQueen. I'm sure he is watching his daughter, maybe even watching his alma mater play tonight, but both those players have been tremendous for this Georgia Tech team so far. And Coach Fortner thrilled about that win December 13th at Notre Dame, 82-67.
Well, really proud of our team today. I thought we played hard and played really well down the stretch when we had to. We made some really good adjustments to make sure we were running the right things offensively. Good decisions by our post players on what they were doing inside. Kubai finishes with a double-double. She's just really hard to guard in there. But I thought outstanding day for Lodemai Lahtinen. Just really did a good job running the team. Loyal McQueen got in foul trouble early in this game, so a lot of this running the team was in Mai's hands, and she did a great job. How about Lily Love coming in off the bench, playing 34 minutes, almost gets her a double-double, 8 boards, 11 points. Just super proud of everybody. Everybody contributed big numbers, 5 in double figures. Another night of 10 made 3. So just really proud of this team and how they're feeling and going about themselves with a lot of confidence offensively. And when we have to dig our heels in defensively, we're doing a good job with that. So we'll take this win, this program's first win against Notre Dame, and have a fun flight home.
Well, she seems quite comfortable on camera, doesn't she, with the wrap-up of that win at Notre Dame. But just to update, they're going through some COVID protocols at Georgia Tech, so they're supposed to play Miami tonight at home. That game's been postponed. A canceled game against Central Florida December 21st. So the next game on the schedule, Kelly, is NC State December 31st, and that we hope will be in Atlanta. Now, remember, last year they started 5-1 in ACC play, but finished 10-8. So let's see what this year holds for Georgia Tech. Yeah, and they're off to a great start, and obviously, you know, you just feel for them having to go through this COVID protocol, and these are the adjustments that all kinds of teams have had to make this season. We just saw Duke go through it. Louisville has gone through it as well. So a lot of teams having to halt those games, and you think about what that means in terms of practice and preparation and people being off the court, because when you're at a Division I level, you know, even taking a few days off can sometimes affect the body. So it'll be interesting to see the way that they regroup and come back, and obviously we wish them the best in their recovery. Certainly, and we'll see what kind of adjustments our teams will make at halftime. Jules Spear, no adjustment needed, especially from beyond the arc. She hit 4 of them in the first half for Wake to keep them within striking distance. 48-34 as halftime continues from Raleigh.
We've marched, prayed,
rallied, voted,
joined arms, and united.
and yet the effort has only just begun.
We encourage everyone, in your own way,
throughout each day,
to help make this world decent and fair and honorable.
From our campus to your home and community,
We can do this together,
one interaction
and one conversation at a time.
48-34, the halftime lead for the Wolfpack. 5-0 this season with a halftime lead, and here's how they got it done. They made their first 10 field goals of this game, Kelly.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Their offense was clicking everywhere. Lisa Kinane, a big reason why on the inside. They also were 8 for 8 from the three-point line early on in this game. Now, they've missed a few since, but it was incredible. Jewel Spear, though, on the other side, the only bright spot for Wake Forest. She has hit multiple three-point shots, getting the ball in position, hands ready, feet ready. That ball is going down for the freshman.
61% for NC State on 7 of 11 from three-point distance. They went 6 for 6 from beyond the arc in the first quarter. And Wake able to get to the line a little bit more than NC State, but the sources of scoring that you would rely on normally, only 4 points combined, and Rotza didn't score till about 24 seconds left in that first half.
Yeah, it's been a great defensive effort by NC State, really stopping these two players. And what's been happening is both of those players have been really trying to force it on offense to get their offense going, but NC State will have none of it. And Wake Forest needs these two players to step up in the second half if they want to be back in this game at all.
And those 19 points per game for Rotza, third best of the ACC, but just 2 so far. Raleigh, North Carolina, and Reynolds Coliseum with the pack in front at halftime.
Basically, our street is basically family, so I grew up around cousins, and every day after school, we just always play basketball or like tag or something. I grew up around a lot of boys, older cousins, and so they would compete with me like I was their age, and it just made me better as a person and as a player. My dad, he played, so we would always just go outside and play, and that was like how we bonded also. We would compete, like my dad would play the shooting game, we would play one-on-one, and maybe he would say he'll let me win, but sometimes I would really whoop his tail, basically. But it was good. And my mom, she would go outside and play with me and just have a good family time. Where I was from, a lot of people wanted to go to North Carolina. They knew about the Duke. Nobody really talked about NC State. And I just wanted to come and just be a part of the building process of this school. And we won the ACC championship, so hopefully NCAA soon.
Kayla Jones, the senior from Jamesville, North Carolina, and Riverside High School. And the numbers from the first half for Kayla Jones with her team up 48-34, Kelly Deo.
It's a triple-double in the making right there. I love that story, though. Unbelievable. And I love what she said about playing against her dad. I also have a dad, a former athlete as a dad, and any time I could beat him in the driveway was a big day. And I know he is loving watching his daughter playing right now. And there's also something to be said about being a part of a program and watching it succeed while you're a part of it. Not necessarily going to one of those big name programs, but to help a program get to this level. And it's satisfying as a player. And she has been everything NC State has needed and more.
And you talk about a program succeeding. How about Stanford and legendary head coach still going strong, Tara Vanderveer.
Yeah, look at those numbers right there. Just one win over Pat Summitt, the legend. And then Gino Auriemma not far behind there. But I love what Coach Wes Moore said. He just said, you know, it's tough to get a program to a certain level and then maintain it for that many years. And that's what she's been able to do. I mean, I am 20 years out of playing basketball in college. I know I'm old. And I wanted to go to Stanford Stanford so badly because Tara Vanderveer, she was so successful. You know, it was in my family's tradition. A lot of my parents were at Stanford, my brother, and I wanted to be recruited by her so badly. She never did recruit me, but she has been an unbelievable figure in women's basketball for so many decades, and I'm just really proud of what Stanford's been able to do. And I know my parents are watching, by the way, some Stanford grads right now, so I've got to say hello to Don and Jeff Seaman watching in Edina, Minnesota.
Well, we appreciate the viewership, and luckily for both you and Coach Vanderveer, things worked out perfect.
They did.
So
they did. I'm thrilled to have gone to Notre Dame and had a great 4 years there.
You know, we do have an update here coming across the news wire right to our update desk here inside Reynolds Coliseum. We told you about the schedule changes that are going on. Well, Miami was supposed to play at Louisville this Sunday, and Duke was supposed to be here at NC State, but because both Louisville and Duke are in COVID protocols, Miami will now travel to play here at NC State at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So they're trying to work that schedule around, and I give them all the credit in the world to try to figure out how we can get these games in during the course of this season.
Yeah, and you think about the director of operations crew, the people that are having to make all those changes, the personnel things, the food orders. I mean, that is no small task for the people that manage these women's basketball teams and their travel, let alone the ACC, and hats off to them too to be able to make those changes on the fly, for teams to be flexible. This is the day and age that we're living in right now.
Absolutely. That's what these teams and administrations and support staffs are going to have to do. Kanane on the block. Came up short, and then Ratza pulled it in.
Great job on the boards. You saw 3 people on those boards for Wake Forest. They've got to do a better job of making NC State go one and done, and then seeing if they can score on the other side.
Further update, that game I just told you about here, Miami and NC State, the start time moved to noon. Wow. So they're going to start it at noon, and then you're going to want to join us at 3 for Clemson and Notre Dame, Clemson, South Carolina. So you'll be able to find your ACC women's basketball action on Sunday as we adjust the schedule as we move along in 2020-2021. Brown Turner tried to follow her miss. Whistle stops play.
That's where Brown Turner had so much success early on in this first quarter of the game, was attacking the basket, being able to get the mid-range shot going. Got her own rebound on that one.
So Moore picked up the foul for Wake Forest. Early moments of our third quarter. And here's Conti trying to go 1-on-2, tried to loop that pass into Spear. It got deflected. 5th turnover for Wake. Sort of a 2-on-1 and a chance at a 3-point play. Kai Crutchfield.
Great patience. She had not secured the ball, was able to give herself a little bit of time, and there's the 4th pass by Conti. I think you got to go up with that. If you're Gina Conti, you've only got 2 points. The pass inside, the dribble into the defender, and the foul. That's a great move by Kai Crutchfield.
3rd foul on Scruggs puts Crutchfield at the free throw line. 6 of 6 from the line on the season for Crutchfield. He played high school ball right here in Raleigh, Millbrook High School. Returning from an ankle injury in the game against Boston College on Sunday. Conti lost it for a moment. Here's Mora. Trying to spin away from Kanane, holding her ground and deflecting it away.
But again, I think Conti should have taken that shot. I don't think she needs to pass that inside. She's so good off the bounce. She's really great just attacking the basket. She needs to go up.
Board got cut off. Knocked away Brown Turner. She just runs by everybody and wins the race to the bucket.
And Jen Hoover must be shaking her head right now. This is sloppy basketball. This is not what I have seen in Wake Forest. I've watched a lot of film on them. They have played so hard for 4 quarters in every basketball game. And right now, this is just, I mean, look at it. Hardly any passing, just one and done. I like that Ratza finally made that shot, but I mean, there's not a lot of continuity right now to this offense.
So that's the 3rd on Kanane, trying to defend Ratza. Point play, Ivana Ratza, 53-37. 7.5 minutes to go in our third quarter. Thea Brown-Turner has tied her career high with 18 points in our game tonight.
We still have a quarter left to play. It's incredible.
Canane sends it out. Canane off the entry, gets the bounce.
She's almost unstoppable when she gets position on that low block with the defender behind her. She just takes it in and makes it look easy.
13 points now for Elisa Canane. The junior for the Pack pulls in the board. 6 rebounds for Canane. Cross court, Crutchfield. Escape dribble, came up short. Did everything but finish the play for Crutchfield. That's a 3. That's Horde. And her first points of the night.
That came in transition, and I said it earlier in the first half. It's what Jen Hoover wanted to do in this game, is get out and run and try to get some offense out of it. Great to see that 3 go down for Wake Forest.
Brown-Turner sent it back to Jones, wide open, and she makes the Deacs pay. 11 points, double digits. Kayla Jones.
She's such a versatile player. I love that, you know, you can't guard her, you know, to drive. You got to be wary of her shot. You can't just guard her for the three-point line if she'll take you on the dribble. Here she is. This is where Wes Moore says she's at her best. Leading the break from the rebound. Gets the rebound. Can she score? Of course.
Oh, wow. All the way around the rim. Despite the miss, she's double digits in 6 straight games now. At the other end, Horde glides in and banks it in for 5 points for Horde.
And again, some offense in transition. That's good if you're Jen Hoover's squad.
NC State has dominated the series here in Raleigh. 39-5 against Wake. They've won 3 in a row at home. 5 in a row overall in the series, including last January. Perez got a very friendly Reynolds Coliseum bounce, and double digits with 10 for Perez.
It's nice to see that Reynolds Coliseum has a few fans in here right now. I know you and I called a Duke game, and there are no fans allowed there. Many arenas are not allowing fans, but there are some here in Reynolds.
That's out of bounds. It's going to stay with NC State. Some fans and some cardboard cutouts here at Reynolds Coliseum with the Pack in front by 18. Gina Conti hasn't shot the ball all that much tonight, just 1 of 2, but trying to get her teammates involved for the Demon Digs, Kelly.
Well, and she's a great point guard that uses her spacing well. You see her dribble to the middle of the floor, and that is where point guards have success. She's able to allow those guards to flare out along the outside. You saw that shot there by Horde, and we talked to Jen Hoover about that. She said point guards come in as high school players, and they play along the sideline. But when you're a college player, you got to get to the middle of the floor, and Gina Conti does it just about as well as anybody in this conference. Also, Jen Hoover talked about just what a great kid Gina Conti has been for the last 4 years. Said she's one of the funniest kids she's ever been around. Has her own sense of style. She said even during quarantine, she learned how to sew her own clothes. I mean, I don't know if that's going to take her somewhere, but I mean, how great would that be? She's a leader on this team. She and Ivana Ratza have been roommates for the last 3 years, and this year they are living off campus, so they're not together, but together. You know, this is a group that wants to go far. They hold each other accountable. They have great expectations for the team this year, and I know she's struggling right now with that number line, or that tagline right there, 2 points, and that's not the norm for her at this point in the game.
Well, they did win 2 games at the tournament last year before falling in the quarters to Florida State, the eventual finalists, losing to this NC State program. And they beat North Carolina last Thursday. 3 straight times they've beaten North Carolina. That includes a win at the tournament. They beat North Carolina and Virginia Tech last year in Greensboro at our championship. And guess what their next game is scheduled to be? Sunday at North Carolina for Wake Forest. And as
How
I
about
said,
that?
yeah, they've beaten them 3 times in a row, and that includes last year at the tourney also.
It's going to be an easy scouting report, having just played them. And they've really had their number, as you said, the last few years, and put together what they've needed to do. And really, it's been a great defensive effort, especially that last one that they played last week against North Carolina. They held them to low numbers.
Yeah, Wake did not shoot the ball well against North Carolina from three-point range, just 9%, 2 of 21. They're going to need some threes to get back into this one as Jones angles to the rim and gets fouled. So Jones at the free throw line. Hines picked up the foul for Wake, her first. She had a double-double in the win against Wake last year when the teams met for the 87th time. 15 points, 11 boards for Kayla Jones, the senior. She's up to 12 points now. Rotzel ran into the double team. Safety valve to Hines. Trying to get away from Kanane, and she did it.
I don't know how she got that to fall. Kanane's hands were outstretched, and that's a 6'5" player with outstretched arms. Just a perfectly placed shot off the glass.
Demira Hines, the freshman. Conti into the corner. Nowhere to go for Harrison. Conti's jumper. A couple of bounces on the rim into Kanane. Kanane on the baseline. Tried to fling it back out. That was intercepted. Horde. 7 turnovers in the game for NC State. Contact on the baseline. It's going to stay with Wake. Notre Dame with the victory. Dara Mabry with 6 points. Maddie Westbeld was the key offensive contributor in that game. 23 points and 6 boards. And again,
just a freshman, and she's doing it all right now for Notre Dame. Her sister Catherine Westbald used to play on the national championship team back in 2018, but Dara Mabry playing against her old team and gets the win at Notre Dame. Congratulations to first-year head coach Niele Ivey. A big win for her in the ACC.
We'll see that program on the road on Sunday against Clemson, 3 o'clock on your regional sports networks, scheduled for 3 p.m. Eastern. Tigers and Irish. Here it's the Pack and the Demon Deacs. 88th all-time meeting, first met back in 1975. Jones, Crutchfield, fouled on a 3-point attempt.
You gotta be smarter than that. Crutchfield deep in that corner, great placement. Very difficult to defend that shot because of how spread out she is, and just ran right into her.
Clemson, by the way, is tied up right now with Florida State. That little John Coliseum, 36-all against the Noles. And we told you that Miami and Georgia Tech had been postponed because of COVID protocols. And because of that, Miami will be here on Sunday, noon Eastern, in place of Duke. Also following the COVID guidelines, unable to come to the game this Sunday to play NC State for the Blue Devils, who also have a first-year head coach.
ACC seems like a who's who in terms of the head coaches now that are around this league. Just some incredible names, great resumes for a lot of these players, especially some young head coaches in the area.
Kara Lawson, we saw her team last week in a loss to Louisville. Brooke Wyckoff stepping in for Sue Semrau, attending to some health issues for her mother. Niele Ivey and Kara Lawson, the first-year head coach at Duke.
I'd like to see them in a 3-on-3 league together. You know, you get.
Well, Kara Lawson coaches the USA basketball 3-on-3 team.
She sure does.
So she knows how that game works.
That's right.
Could be a player coach, maybe. Three outstanding players.
Really, it's such prominent institutions. I mean, you think about Carol Lawson, who's never even coached at the college level, is now taking over Duke, and what she has been able to do just in her career as a player, as an analyst, excellence at every level, and you just wish her all the best at Duke. And then Niele to take over at her alma mater for the Hall of Fame coach, Muffet McGraw. And that's why tonight was a big win for her to knock off Virginia Tech, who was unbeaten. And Niele coming into this game at 2-2 had to feel good as a first-year head coach.
Cleared by Canane. And now Crutchfield. 9 boards for Canane. Just a rebound away from another double-double. Double-doubles against Elon, and then Boston College. Canane moving without the basketball, and her teammate found her. 15 points for the big smile. I think our colleague Debbie Antonelli gave her that nickname, and it has stuck.
Yeah, and it's perfect for her. She plays with such joy, and you see it on her face. And even when she's not playing well, she's still got that smile. And you have to smile along with her. She's a lot of fun to watch.
33-14 in rebounds, the edge for NC State. And Debbie is scheduled to join me on Sunday for that Clemson Notre Dame game. Look at Canane.
Wow.
Step around the defender skillfully. So smooth on her way to 15 points.
Well, and I've loved that she has added to her game each offseason. You know, I think that first year she was more of just a post on the block, turn and score. She brought along the three-point game. She's active along the baseline now. I mean, just so much to her game that is just really the result of hard work.
So Canane now to 17 points in the game. And the largest lead of the night for NC State. Canane flips it up on the rim unsuccessfully. And now 20 seconds to go in our third quarter. The lead was 14 at halftime. Now up to 23. 67-44. Final 10 seconds. Conti on the dribble. Launching a three and missing the mark was Jewel Spear. That hasn't happened a whole lot tonight. But Canane and her teammates, 67-44. Let's go to the fourth. Pack ahead of the Deacons.
ACC Women's Basketball is brought to you by the Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. By Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today.
This one of the social justice initiatives on the NC State campus, and the members of the women's team with their mural on the Free Expression Tunnel wall. Pack United.
Love it.
Yeah, part of that initiative towards social justice, the ACC, and equality. Wonderful themes for this season. And really, that's the only way we get to the end of the year, is for these teams to unify, for this league to unify, and everyone to do their part to get to the end of the road with that mural on the Free Expression Tunnel. You have to walk around campus and check that out here in Raleigh.
I love the way that each team is doing their own thing to come together and to raise awareness towards social justice and all of the just what has been happening in our world as it relates to race over the summer. Obviously, a lot of eyes on that, and really great to see teams step up and be a mouthpiece for change and awareness, and just a great expression for NC State.
They have expressed themselves on the basketball court tonight as well, and painted a 67-44 lead here in the fourth. Inside of 10 minutes to go.
You got to go back to that win against South Carolina. When you knock off the #1 team in the country on their home floor, and by the way, we talked about fans before the break. They had 3,000 fans in that arena, so it felt more like an actual game, Wes Moore said. And that does something to a program. You start, you know, where you may have been wondering if you were as good as you thought you were. Now you know you're as good as you think you are. And now everything, you know, you have an expectation to rise to that level every single game.
December 3rd to win at #1 South Carolina, 54-46. And the first win against a #1 team for the Pack since 07 when they beat Duke at the ACC tournament. Shot clock was winding down. I think the more impressive thing against South Carolina might be the fact that they held that team to 46 points, Kelly.
Yeah, it was the first time that they had been under 50, I believe, since early 2000. And that's not something you see from Dawn Staley and her squad. And you think about the high-powered offense that they have year in and out. And we're watching what they can do defensively right now, holding Wake Forest to 44 points. And how about the defense there? Great job picking up that charge. Look at this, getting in position outside the restricted area. Even fell into Hobby on the backside, but that's using your body and sacrificing for the team.
NC State stopped South Carolina's 29-game home winning streak. First win at South Carolina for NC State since the 04-05 season. And to support your point about defense, as they tried for some offense and miss, they held South Carolina to fewer than 50 points for the first time, as you just said, since 2013. So an all-around effort by the Pack. Now, Coach Moore did say he wished it was in March instead of December 3rd, but we'll take it as it comes in 2020, 2021.
He said the team still did give him a little shower as he went into the locker room, sprayed their water bottles at him. And you know, anytime you do that as a coach, and I'm not sure Wes Moore has ever done that, knocked off a #1 team. So even as a coach, to have that now in your resume, that's a big deal.
The record so far this season is perfect at 6-0. Working on an 11-game winning streak going back to last season. In fact, the last time they lost was February 24th of last year in 2020 of this year, but last season they lost to Duke at home 70-65. That was their last loss. And this will be their 7th straight win in conference play. Remember, they started last year with 14 straight wins and went 22-1 through 23 games. That was a school record, a 22-1 record. Now 23 points for Brown Turner, improving on her career high established tonight against Wake Forest.
That's the problem if you're playing NC State, is you don't know who to lock in on. Do you lock in on the big Elisa Kinane inside? And if so, somebody else is going to score on you. I mean, you got Jakia Brown Turner getting her career high in this one. You had, you had Kayla Jones get her career high in the game against Boston College. I mean, any player can step up. You got Kai Crutchfield, who came in today and is giving some great minutes and good points from the three-point line as well.
And if you're Wake Forest, you want to come to NC State and pull an upset, you certainly would have needed more production from Conti and Ratza. Right now, combined, they are 7 points in this game for Jen Hoover. And yes, it's early in the season, but look at their season averages scoring. Conti, 17.4 points per game. Ratza, 19 points per game, 3rd in the conference again. Combined, they have not been able to get the job done tonight, and a lot of credit goes to the NC State defense as well.
Absolutely. I mean, two players on the same team in the top 10 in the ACC in scoring. First of all, you don't see that. You don't. It's nowhere else in the ACC. And then to hold both of those players to these kind of numbers, that's incredible. I mean, that's a great defensive effort. And you can see the fight right now. I mean, Ratza from the sideline, but Conti, I mean, she is out there battling, and she wants more for her team, and she's trying to do what she can, but she's limited right now in what NC State's allowing.
Ratza was just 2 of 11 from the floor. Brown Turner has come out to the embrace of her teammates and some high fives. Inside of 6.5 minutes to go in the fourth. Conti driving, and she'll get the offensive foul.
Another charge. I mean, what a play right there. Genesis Bryant. That's her second straight charge that she's taken. And she is 5'6", and I'm guessing that might even be a stretch. I love it. Little guard getting in there, taking charge and using her body. That's big.
Freshman guard from Jonesboro, Georgia. Trying to slice through that Wake D. She hits the court. Ball goes out of bounds and will stay with NC State. Defensive play from Harrison.
She was trying to do it on the offensive side too, but she got that one swatted. She was the Georgia State Player of the Year. Also won a state title with her high school. Lovejoy.
Stolen by Harrison. Conti, easy layup. 4 points in the game for Conti. But again, that's well below her season average of 17.4.
And none of them have looked that easy. NC State has not made anything easy for Gina Conti or Ivana Ratza.
And remember, a season ago against NC State, Conti also struggled, was 3 of 18 from the floor. And this is coming off a game-high performance in the win against North Carolina with 16 points for Gina Conti. Driving and scoring. That's Bryant.
I know they're not fans in the building, but there are fans on the sideline right there. And the NC State bench just erupted when they saw the freshman go in for two.
First 2 points of the game for Genesis Bryant. That's Mora at the other end. She's also a double-digit scorer in this Wake lineup.
Well, that's something Coach Westmore said. He said, last year I had seniors coming off the bench, in that ACC run. They didn't play a ton of minutes, but I had experience. This year, it's freshmen. And how about this freshman right there? Genesis Bryant with the crossover and finish off the glass and the response. Look at Kayla Jones and company. I love it.
Coach Moore taking this NC State program to 4 NCAA tournament appearances. A couple of Sweet 16s, 2018 and 2019. Who knows what they may have accomplished last season after winning an ACC championship in Greensboro. First time since 1991 for this NC State program.
Yeah, he thinks they probably would have been a 2 seed going into that tournament. I think some could have seen them as a 1 seed. Obviously left in doubt there, but in question. There is a nice 3 by Conti. Very needed, just a little bit late, but Coach Westmore did also say that it was nice to go out on a win. He's never done that before, so you got to think, to experience that season. And, of course, a lot of what-ifs when you think about Ace Koenig and the other seniors on that team and Elisa Kanane and people playing so well. You just wonder how deep that tournament run could have gotten.
Koenig was the MVP of the tournament last season. And unfortunately, it was about the end of the basketball year, as the following week everything had to be canceled because of the virus. Trying to work our way through this season. And tonight's matchup for NC State, not much of an issue on their way to victory. Elisa Kanane. Tonight, 17 points, 10 boards for the big smile. That's 3 straight double-doubles, Kelly Dale.
You see she's doing it from every position. The right-handed make, the three-point make. Here she is with the left hand right over the top. And then how about just the reverse? Just to put the cherry on top. Those are some post moves. That's some versatility in the post position. She is everything, and there is a reason she's on every preseason watch list, including the Wooden, the Naismith, the Lisa Leslie. I mean, it's unbelievable what this junior has done for NC State.
7 of 11 shooting from the floor tonight for Lisa Kanane. It appears that her evening is complete. 3:55 to go on the clock for the team, up 77 to 54. Junior from Summerfield, North Carolina, about 100 miles west of our location. ACC all-freshman, her first year in the league, All-American last year, first team All-ACC, junior season. She's starting to crank it up. Averaging over 15 points per game, almost 8 boards. Right around those averages tonight, exceeding those. Enjoying some liquid refreshments in the bench area. See those seats socially distanced. Good to see all of the schools making a concerted effort to follow the health and safety guidelines. And no different here at Reynolds Coliseum. So great to be in this building. When you think about the history inside of these walls, and it's like they did refurbish the building, multi-million-dollar refurbishment. But they still left some of those old-looking chairs on the higher levels, and it just harkened back to ACC tournaments, both men and women. This place hosted the women's tournament in '79 and '82. And by the way, 16-17 was the first season back after the renovation. NC State is now 65-9 and 25-9 in the ACC since this building was renovated.
Wow.
So there's some energy in the confines of Reynolds Coliseum. Kay Young Court, Valvano Arena.
Some good home court advantage right there.
Just an incredible place for college basketball. And you know that these young women and Coach Moore and his staff feel so lucky to be able to play their home games right here on this court with the big Tuffy logo at center court. NC State Wolfpack.
I think you feel that as a player as well, you know, to know the tradition that you're playing under, the people that have gone before you, that have had success. When you see the names Kay Yao, you know, Coach Valvano, I mean, everybody knows who those people are. And so to be this young player in 18 to 22 age range and feel like you're representing the people that have played before you, I just think that's such a big deal. And I think that these players are honoring those names and those legacies.
Absolutely. If you've never been here to see a game, hopefully you will be able to in the very near future. Make sure you check out the Hall of Fame display, the statues outside of the arena, including Coach Kay Yao. I showed you that at the top of the broadcast as they play on Kay Yao Court. And our colleague Debbie Antonelli made sure that Kay Yao's name will live on forever right here at this court here in Raleigh, North Carolina. What a privilege and an honor to be here. And what a performance tonight by NC State. They led by 19 at the end of the first quarter, Kelly, and they never looked back tonight against Wake Forest.
Yeah, you go back to that Boston College game, a game where they trailed the majority of that game at 16 down. We've talked a lot about it in the fourth quarter. And Coach Westmore said he would have enjoyed, he probably wouldn't have enjoyed that comeback as much, obviously, if they lost. So it's nice to get to be able to learn what you had to with a win versus a loss, but he did learn a lot about his team right there. To be able to come back in that short amount of time, using everyone. You see the way Kayla Jones stepped up. Elisa Kanane does what she always does, but that was an important win for them, especially coming off that win against #1 South Carolina a couple games before, because they have got to learn how to play under pressure.
That comeback for NC State against Boston College, down 16 with 6:15 left. Second largest comeback under Wes Moore as the head coach here at NC State. Able to take out Boston College 75-69 on Sunday in Chestnut Hill. And again, they're going to host Miami on Sunday. A change in scheduling because Miami was supposed to be at Louisville, but the Cardinals in COVID protocol. 8th season for Coach Moore. He's going to rack up another win. It's going to be win number 175. And his 79th win in the ACC as the head coach of NC State. A job, he said to us, I couldn't believe he said this. He said he never in a million years thought that he would be the head coach here at NC State. And now he's taken this program to incredible heights. An ACC tournament championship. He's just got to try to chase down Coach Yao, who won 4 of those ACC tournaments.
Yeah, we asked him about that. Yeah, we asked about even just the longevity in this sport. You know, he's not a young coach. And so we said, you know, how long?
Hey, you said that.
That's right, right. How long do you see yourself doing this? And, you know, he said coaches go home after games and they watch film. Every coach does it. He said, I love doing that. When I start not enjoying that process, going home and going through film and breaking it down, then I know I'm at the end. But right now, you think about where this team is headed. You look at the sophomores and the freshmen on this team. The future is so bright for this program.
1:46 to go, 79-63. Coach Moore in the pack in front of the Wake Forest team at Deacons. (79-63). 1:46 to go in our fourth quarter. So glad you've been with us. Tom Wormy, Kelly Deo, and our outstanding ACC Women's College Basketball production crew, working so hard to get these games to you throughout the season. Everyone working very hard on many different fronts to make sure we can play college basketball this year in the ACC. Kendall Moore bringing it up for NC State. Tough angle follow away. Miss from Rice.
But you got to see a great post move inside. I know she missed it, but this is the beauty of being able to watch some of these young players, and you see some of the talent. And you think a year or two in this system, what this could turn into.
So Wake Forest is going to have its 4-game winning streak snapped. They lost the first game of the year. It was against Arkansas, but then had a win against number 24, Missouri State. First win against a ranked team since February of 2017.
Essentially, they've already played 3 top 25 teams.
Right. And that ranked team that they had beaten in 2017, NC State. See, it all comes full circle, Dale. Just stay with me. Okay?
Done.
It's always great to see Kelly Deo because I know we're working. We're on site. We're ready to go.
That's right. I'm always nervous. I think you said it earlier. Checking my phone on the way in. I had that thought driving in here today. What if...
I don't answer my phone anymore. I let my assistant handle that.
These coaches are feeling the same thing. I think everybody breathes a sigh of relief when that ball goes up and the game gets started.
Final seconds.
Oh, what a drive. Off the glass for Brown.
So 6 seconds to go. That's 7 points for Brown for Wake. NC State is going to improve to 7-0 and 2-0 in conference play with wins against Boston College and tonight against Wake. 79-65. That's your final count. Coach Moore acknowledging Coach Jen Hoover, one of the all-time greats in Wake Forest women's basketball history. And her program sees its 4-game winning streak end tonight against the number 4 team in the country. No shame in losing to NC State, especially on its home floor.
Yeah, and I think anybody that was going to play NC State after that almost loss that they had to Boston College, the way they came back, this is a team that was hungry and they were ready. And anybody that was going to play them next was going to be in for a battle and a tough game. And NC State came and they did not disappoint. But our hats off to Wake Forest. What a great team this has been, and great to watch them.
Here's our CPI security protecting the paint. Jakia Brown-Turner doing it on the offensive and defensive end along with her teammate Alyssa Kinane. And she has joined us now after scoring 23 points and leading her team career high. Jakia Brown-Turner. Jakia, thank you so much for your time. This performance, not nearly as close as the game against Boston College. This one was a lot more fun, I'm sure, for you tonight against Wake Forest. How was this victory here in your home court?
It definitely was great. I'm so happy that our team came out ready to play. We all were making shots, playing defense. It was just so great to see our team finally come together.
Jakia, going back to that game against Boston College, you guys came through in the fourth quarter. What did you learn about yourself in that game that moved you into this, playing at this level against Wake Forest tonight?
I just learned that we can never give up on the game. Even though we were down by a lot in the fourth quarter, we just had to keep playing. And I just learned that defense goes to offense.
So many different people on this team can step up, and you're now another reflection of that. The leading scorer in this game tonight, sometimes it's Kanane. What do you say about the balance of your team this year?
I just said that anybody on our team can put the ball in the basket, defend, and do anything. So it's going to be hard to guard our team because you never know who's going to step up every night or each night.
Jakia Brown-Turner, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on the victory. Still undefeated this season for NC State. You're very welcome. 7-0 and number 4 in the nation. 23 points. She led the way for the Pack. 79-65. There's more to come from Raleigh in just a moment.